Hi, book besties. How are you? First, can I just say, yeah, I am done up like a dog's dinner. Did I sit here for 30 minutes to put a face on for this video? Yes, I did. Yes, I bloody did. Because watching that video of me literally without makeup on the whole time was just, it was something. It was unhinged, but that is me. I just want to thank absolutely every single one of you who have watched, subscribed, liked, commented, DM me saying that they can't wait to see future things and that they're so happy I finally came round and did YouTube. Because YouTube to me, it was such a PTSD thing, I can't lie. I was a part of like that wanting to be a beauty guru in like 2016. Even before then, I've been on and off YouTube most of my life. And sitting there back in front of a camera was just so scary because being in high school, trying to break into the makeup scene and everything, it was so hard, because I'm from Liverpool and it's as much as we are diverse, it's school, especially I think for anyone, can be a very tough time, especially if you are a little bit different. And that did affect me so much. But so coming back onto a camera, it's like I'm hugging little old Elle from way back when and being like, it's okay, babe, you can breathe, it's okay. Big girl Elle is here to take over now. And it's been the most amazing thing to have all your support. It has been literally so heartwarming. I can't thank you enough for absolutely everything. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I don't just mean that on like my booktube. I also mean that within my bookstagram and within my own personal Instagram and so on and so forth. It's the good thing I find about this, the bookstagram community, is that we are so accepting of everyone from all different backgrounds, if that's ethnic, if that's sexual orientation, if that's gender, with anything. It is absolutely amazing. I can hands down say I've never received any negative things while being on this book community. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I can't even put it into words, and just to hear everyone's praise of either my content, if it's my reviews. I know a lot of people have been saying that they really do like my reviews because I do primarily read horror, thriller. As you can see behind me, I have my bookcase here and I have a little one here and they're all full. I will definitely do a book tour. Is that what you want to call it? If that's something you'd like, comment down below and let me know, because I'd love to do that, because there's so many books on here that I have read, but there's loads on there that I have not read. So I think by showing them to you, and if you have read them, you can just let me know and I can bump them up right up into my future TBRs. But speaking of TBRs, today's video is my October spooky TBR. And this one was such a hard TBR collection to make, because I do make all my TBRs by the end of the previous month. And I try and collect certain things. So this year's October TBR chose just horror. There was no thriller. There's no dark academia. There's none of that. It is literally just ooky spooky vibes. And I have tried to collectively pick something from every single aspect of horror. So let's get into my spooky season TBR. I'll start with... Oh, I am actually missing one. There is my vitamin C things on the floor. So where did I put her? Okay, so my first video was all about Hex by Thomas Olhavelt. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I am so sorry. This book I really did enjoy, and this follows a town. And as you know, if you have watched that or have read my review on this on my bookstagram, if you do like spoiler-free reviews, check out my bookstagram. It is Scream Scene Book Club. And I have a full review on this book of things I did like and what I didn't like. That doesn't spoil anything. And obviously, if you want a few little spoilers, check out my reading vlog to this and you'll see my whole thought process on how I rated this book and how I felt throughout it. But this book follows a town that is being cursed by a witch that has been there for 350 years. And in that whole time, her eyes and mouth have been sewn shut. And she just stalks the town, and sadly, teenagers, being teenagers, take it upon themselves to rid the world of this ghost. They're trying to help understand this witch and try and release her so they can have a normal life, because they can't have social media. They can't go out for long periods of time without feeling like this negative energy drawing them to hating themselves. So this book I did enjoy. It was beautifully written. I do think it could have been edited down a little bit, but this was our witchy cursed land style book. So then straight from there I went into and started, as we can see, The Troop by Nick Cotter, and this is survival horror. I am going into this blind, so I actually don't know much about this book. A lot of these books I do not know much about, because I do like to go into them blind. I don't read reviews on what I am reading before I have read them. I typically will write my own review and then I go and check what everyone else is saying, just to see if I'm on my own with certain feelings or if it's a very common thing. So with this, it follows a group of scouts, I think that's what they're called. It's based in Canada, and they go to this small island for a couple of days to do their scouty things. I don't know what you do in scouts. I was a part of scouts for a small briefer time way back when. So I have a good little connection with this. And there's a man that is eating everything within his path. He seems very unwell, and he has just got to the island, and the scout leader has discovered him and has took him in. So I am assuming, from what I do know of this, that there's tapeworms involved, and it's basically everyone ends up dead or somehow. So I am really looking forward to this, and I know so many people have read this and absolutely raved about this author, so I am so happy to finally be able to read this. And I found this in my local Waterstones, and may I just say, I went into my local Waterstones the other day and they have extended their horror section, because I went in and it's been the same for years and it was all changed. I was like, what? Because it was one bookcase similar to this, a bit taller, just of horror, but a lot of them were same type horrors or horror that wasn't appealing to me. So now that I've seen that it's tripled in size, I cannot wait to see what they have, because authors like this were typically not in my local Waterstones because it was such a small one, and if they were, there was probably one or two copies and they would be gone straight away. So I'm so excited to get into this, so keep your eyes out on my Bookclub for a full in-depth spoiler-free review on The Troop. For a ghost story, and I'm assuming, because like I said, I go into these blind, this has got a lot of grief horror in it, and that is Naomi's Room by Jonathan Aycliffe. This is a short book, very short, 216 pages. And to be honest, I did read the first page of this way back when. As we can see, there's a little bookmark in there, and I put it down. I do not know why. I can't remember. I just mustn't have been in the mood to read, because I never do that. This, everyone is raving about. Everyone's telling me to read this, and I am so excited. So if you have read Naomi's Room, let me know what you thought down below. Please leave it spoiler free, because this is going to be my next book after The Troop. Vampires. Why you can't have Halloween without vampires. I read a lot on vampires. I think vampires are one of my favourite monsters. I have loved vampires in movies. I have loved Twilight. That was a big one for me. I love the originals. I love the Vampire Diaries. I loved all of that. I've even loved The Interview with a Vampire, even though I've never read the book. And I have both, I think the first two of Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice in my collection. And I think they are like from the 90s. So I was really happy to get hold of those. But I am talking about The Gathering by C.J. Tudor. This book I actually picked up in Asda. If you're not from the UK, Asda is like a grocery store. It's like your Walgreens, your Walmart even. It's very similar to a Walmart. I actually think years ago I seen a Walmart like trolley in there. So I do think it's our British version of Walmart. And they sell books and they do like 2 for £9. So I managed to grab this and I grabbed it with, what did I actually buy this with? Oh no, I'm losing all my books. So I had bought it with the House of Last Resort, sorry, by Christopher Golden. I really enjoyed this book. I think I rated this 4 stars. I read this last month and I flew for it. It was so good. It does remind me of like The Rats, which I also do have somewhere. To be honest, if I hear rats, like in general, I automatically think of The Rats by James Herbert. This book I absolutely love. I think this was published 1989, so this actually is a lot older than me because I was born in the year 2000. But I bought that with this, and this is a boy is found with like completely murdered, and people are starting to assume things that it's a vampire because he's found with his blood drained, so people automatically assume vampire. And from what I've heard from this is new take on vampire lore, which is amazing because a lot of vampire books follow the same type thing. So this is a detective trying to figure out and come to terms with who it is, what it is, and where it's from. And apparently it's meant to be really scary. I've never read anything by CJ Tudor before, and I have heard really good things about, I think it's The Drift. And I was going to pick it up a couple of months back when we had the Wardstones buy one, get one half price, and it was there, and I was really looking at it thinking, do I? But I couldn't find another book in that selection that I liked so much, so I left it, and ever since then I've not seen it anywhere. So if I read this and I like this, I will definitely go and pick up The Drift by CJ Tudor. Have you read this? I know a lot of people love this book. So if you've read this, please do let me know your thoughts on it. And what is your all-time favourite vampire book? Because I actually don't have one. I think I have actually got a favourite vampire book yet. But when I do, I'm pretty sure I'll let you know. This could be it. And then following from Christopher Golden, I have All Hallows by Christopher Golden. This book is the perfect Halloween-y vibes. It is based in the 80s. We love the 80s. Like, the 80s for horror was such an iconic time. Like, the 80s, we got Halloween, we got Friday the 13th, we got Freddy Krueger. Like, the 80s was such a staple for horror, so I think basing a book in the 80s is such a clever thing. And from what I have heard about this book involves everything. Absolutely everything. Like I said, I do go into these blind. Just reading the back is a straight up classic feeling, old school horror. King of Halloween. That was Chuck Wedding. And Christina Henry said, twists and turns in haunted woods, still all your Halloween dreams and nightmares are made real. This looks and sounds fabulous, like this cover. With the candles and the eyes, the skull, the colours and everything. I can't wait to get to this. And then finally, I did read Let's Split Up by Bill Wood. I shall hopefully be able to pop it here because I actually borrowed my copy to my sister yesterday because I thought it was such a well-written YA debut, YA horror thriller book. It was so good. I really loved it. It gave me Scooby-Doo vibes meets Scream. It was a bit of a slasher, a little bit of a mystery. It was like a gang. I just wished the dog was a part of it a little bit more to give it that Scooby-Doo vibes. And I'm so intrigued to see what Bill Wood does next, because I know at the end it says that he does have another book releasing next year, and I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for that because I picked that book up in the works. I hadn't heard of Bill Wood before. I knew he was a big presence on Book Talk and Bookstagram. He was doing a lot of reviews and recommending a lot of books. So I found that out later. I did a whole video about the book on my Bookstagram, showing it off because it was such a stunning book. It was really eye-catching. It had blood splattered all over it. I was like, yeah, and it gave me like those 90s slasher movie vibes, like Scream, you know, the originals, they're so good. It gave me, oh my god, with the Hook. Why have I gone into major brain fog? With the Hook, what's the Hook called? I Know What You Did Last Summer. That was it. It gave me those vibes, but obviously on a little bit more turned down. Yeah, like I never normally read YA thriller and horror. Like YA, I left YA when I was about 16, 17, and I left it there. But recently I have read quite a few, not quite a few, but I've read a couple, like The Girls Next Door. Not The Girl Next Door, that is not YA. I am so imagine, yeah, The Girl Next Door, Jack Ketchum. YA, yeah, like that's totally acceptable for I think YA is like 14 to 18, something like 12 to 18. Yeah, YA, totally. No, that book is traumatic. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That book was so good, and I have seen that they've done a TV series adaptation of it on BBC, I think it is. I have not watched it. I do plan to watch it. The one reason I did not watch it, right, was because I've only read the first book. I still have the second and the third and the prequel to read. And I was so worried that they had put multiple books within the first season, because I don't know if they are releasing another season or not. So I just assumed, oh, maybe they've put all the books into this one season. I was like, I can't watch it just in case. It has now been clarified to me that it has only got, the first season is the first book. So I will definitely be going to watch that this spooky season, even though we're almost out. Like, the fact that we are literally halfway through spooky season and I still have 4 books to read. Like, this is the order that I am definitely putting this spooky season TBR. So this first and going this way. If I do not get to The Gathering, I will definitely be popping this on to my November TBR. Even though I am having a feeling I haven't read any Dark Academia in a while. Like, a while. And I love a bit of Dark Academia. Something about, like, based in, like, a gothic university / college, wherever you're from, I don't know, and magic, murder, like that thing, just it sounds so aesthetically pleasing. And the last one I did read was Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. I think that's how you pronounce it. I am so sorry, but I have a couple of her books that I need to read. So I have obviously Hellbent, which is the sequel for Alex Stern, for Ninth House. I have The Familiar, which I really want to get to. I've had that since publication day. You can actually see that here. She is absolutely stunning. And then for the rest of like my little bits of Dark Academia, I picked up this book the other day when shopping with my sister, If We Were Villains, because I have heard everyone rave about this book. So I was like, let me read it, and it sounded so good. And then L. Rio actually released another book. I know this came out like 7 years ago, but this has just came out, Graveyard Shift. So I thought, because this is a very short novella of like 200 pages, maybe less, 123 pages. I could read that in a sitting, like full well in a sitting. So I'm thinking I'll read this and then I'll go straight on to If We Were Villains. And I know a lot of people who recommend this obviously have read A Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I have not read, but I do have the book. So I am thinking like my November type will be probably these 3 books, and maybe if The Gathering hasn't been read, it will definitely go in there. And then I have also promised that I will read The Ritual by Adam Neville. Like, I have 3 of his books. I have The Ritual, The Last Days, and No One Gets Out Alive. So I do definitely want to read his books, because I've had these books, like I've had No One Gets Out Alive for a while, and then the other two I got at a secondhand bookstore about 2-3 months ago. So I definitely want to get to them, but they are thick books. Like, they are thick books, and I struggle sometimes with thick books. Do you struggle with thick books? Like, surely I can't be the only one. Like, I do love like a book of like this size, because I find it's compact, it's easy, it flows quickly, and it's a lot quicker to get through. Whereas if I had a massive chunky book, for example, like one of the biggest books I have is Stephen King's It. Like, this is such an old book. This book has been with me everywhere, and I have never finished this book. I have never finished it. I think the most I have got is like 200 and something pages in. And I always put it down. So I will definitely read this one day, because I have two of these. As you can see, I've got the first UK hardcover edition up here, which is really fun to have. Like, I'm not someone who likes to collect like first editions, but my bookstore in Liverpool, secondhand bookstore called Henry Bond Books. If you are ever in Liverpool, please go and visit Henry Bond. He has such an amazing collection of books. He may not have a lot of horror books, because I come in and snatch them up quite a lot. But a lot of them are like either first editions or, you know, the first few editions. So if it's an older book from like the 70s, he'll have them from like the second edition right the way through, and sometimes he has the first, which is so fun. And I don't realize that when buying, and he's so cheap, like so cheap. Like, just let me just look. It's so good. Like, the first UK edition of this book, and I have seen this go for like £400-500, and I got it for £4 for the first edition in the UK. Like, tell me that's not great. Like, you can't even buy a book for £4 anymore. Like, even this book that has just came out, I paid £15 for. Well, I actually only paid a fiver. Yeah, I only paid £5 because I had the stamps where you get 10 stamps, you get £10. So you spend £100 basically, you get £10 in credit. So I used it on this book, and I just had to put forward the £5. So yeah, like, this video was spiraled very quickly from just being a TBR to literally like other books I bought recently. But this is my spooky season TBR. So we have already got 2 down. We've got Let's Split Up. Let's just imagine, use our imaginations, that it is here before Hacks. So we'll have Let's Split Up, Hacks, The Troop, Naomi's Room, All Hallows, and The Gathering. Let's hope, pray for me, that I can get all of these books read this spooky season, because I really want to. Like, I have had months, I think it was August, I read like 8 books. Like, I flew through them, and then I didn't read, like, I think I read 1 book and 1 or 2 books in September. I've already read 2 this month. I am now on my 3rd, so I'm hoping at least to get like 3 or 4. And obviously with Naomi's Room being such a small book, I'm hoping I can just fly through that in like a sitting or 2, and then I can move on to All Hallows, and I can just really push myself to finish that. And obviously if CJ Tudor's The Gathering does not make it, it will be moved over to next month. But anywho, that is my spooky ooky pooky, hi pooky, season, TBR. Let me know in the comments below what your spooky season TBR is, and I look forward to reading maybe some of them, because it's always good to hear what everyone else is reading. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I highly do appreciate every single one of you. You are absolute angels, my little spooky ooky pookies. I really like spooky ooky pookies. I think that's what I'm going to be calling everyone, spooky ooky pookies. I'll put it on a t-shirt and sell it. I won't, but we will. Consider, maybe we will. But thank you so much for joining me on this little random TBR video. Like, this is why I can't sit in front of a camera, because I just ramble. But thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and enjoy your spooky pooky season, darlings. And I shall see you in the next one. Bye.